Hey, everybody, and welcome, of course, not only to your first pillar of public speaking, of impact of the course that is designed to support you with every step of indeed increasing your impact and your income. But if you have come in the order of the curriculum, this is also, of course, your first video. So I just want to take an additional moment to say hello, especially if we have not connected yet. This is my face. I'm Harriet. I'll share a little bit more about myself, but most importantly, welcome to the tribe. Welcome to Impact. It is a really exciting space to rise together, to support each other through the challenges, through the tough times, through the character building moments, and of course, to celebrate our wins, to congratulate each other, and generally to support each other's progress. So even now, I just want to take a moment. I'm a big believer in the process, in celebrating the steps that you take whilst, of course, growing and creating more, lovingly accepting exactly where we are now, whilst getting excited for what we are creating. So you said yes. You said yes to yourself, to your speaking desire, to your dream, to whatever nudged or called you from inside to really step up and take your speaking to the next level. Whether you're someone that is just getting started or you're someone that's been speaking for a little while, but you're really ready and interested in scaling and taking it to that next level, not just speaking, but really providing that incredible impact. But you're here because you've invested in yourself, you have a desire, and also you want to serve. You want to help others through your message, through your story, through your content, your knowledge, your wisdom, your information. You want to support others. So I just want to take a moment, high five, and congratulate you for being in this space. As I've said many, many times, it's on the screen. I won't repeat it. This is the right space if you are looking to do what is on the screen right now. If you've got any questions, of course there is. You can see it over here on our drop down. This is what your community page looks like. There is a question section here on the left-hand side. I hope that you can see my arrow wiggling, but if you can't, on the left-hand side, it says impact at the top, and in the drop-down menu, you can see questions. So please make sure that you ask any questions in that space. Now, a couple of things. This is housekeeping. It is relevant to all of the courses, relevant to all of your curriculum. But I've done it here because, particularly with mindset, and mindset is a module. It is the foundational pillar of this course of creating an impact. But it's also something that we're going to work continuously on. Yes, it's the same if you want to get a beautiful, amazing, fit, foxy, fabulous, healthy, vibrant, energetic health body feeling inside. You don't just go to the gym once. You don't just eat one salad and wham, bam, you're set for life, right? It's an ongoing process. So it's exactly the same with your mindset and with what we're going to be speaking into this evening. So there will be regular calls for your mindset, but to truly make the most of this space, I ask you to check in with yourself, right? Because it's not about me, like I'm here, I am, and please lean into this, test this. I can be absolutely your biggest cheerleader and will support you as best I can. But of course, you have to play your part. You have to show up, to execute on the different modules, to ask questions, to practice, to execute on the speaking opportunities, etc., etc. So I really ask you to commit and show up for your speaking desire. And the speaking desires are going to be different for everybody, but this is something that we're going to lean into further in this session. Speak up. Yes, practice. I know that one of the reasons I'm often described as a world-class speaker, an inspirational speaker, one of the most powerful speakers we've ever heard. And I don't say that lightly, right? I've put the time in to get to that level. But one of the reasons that people often say this to me is not because of what I did on the stage. It is the years and the hours of practice, doing things like you are in this space right now, courses, events, programs, mentors that really allowed me to have a space where I could, I like to say master the skill, but I haven't mastered it yet and don't believe that I ever will, right? There's always a next level. There's always something new to learn. There's always a way to improve, but certainly to be a world-class, impactful speaker at this stage. I really believe that it had to do with speaking up consistently and practicing in a space where I could get relevant feedback that supported my growth. I think you all know this, but I just want to remind you that what you put in is what you get out. I know that there are people that I work with that absolutely tick off and rise way above what their speaker goals and their speaker desires are/were as they evolve them. But I'm also aware, and I'm like, oh, I would love it to be all of you, but I'm also aware, the same with any type of course, program, and membership, that there's some people that won't implement this in the same way. Some of you might take longer to do it, and that's still amazing. That's still great, right? Everybody's pace is different. So I'm not saying that you need to do this quickly, but I'm saying if you don't choose to execute, right? If you just sit and watch the lessons, take your notes, interact a little bit in the community, but you don't actually execute the information within your business, within your life, with your customers, with your team, from stages, in network meetings, etc., then you're not going to get the results that you are looking for. So what you put in is absolutely what you will get out. A reminder, save the dates. Save the dates. So when you go into the event section, you will see they will always be at least a month, but usually 2 months in advance, the dates of your calls. And as I said a moment ago, there will be a regular mindset session so that we continuously progress, so that we continuously expand, and so that we're continuously open to growth. Yes, I'm going to speak more into this. It's so tempting to start ranting about mindset already. But as I say, there's events, there's the content, there's Q&A, there's live coaching, there's the mindset. There's so many different calls to support you, bi-weekly coaching. So please ensure that they are in your calendar. And of course, last but not least, remember to have fun. Remember to have fun and enjoy the process. Yes, it can be a roller coaster, like anything in life. It can be an absolute roller coaster. And let me tell you now that there will be tough times. It's not like if there's going to be challenge or maybe something will happen. There will be times that are tough, frustrating, challenging, all the different descriptions. So I just remind you in the other moments and on a sort of more day-to-day basis, just remember to enjoy what you're doing. Yes, have happiness in the process, not just because you desire and you'll hit the end result. So again, today we are jumping in to pillar number 1, talking about your mindset. Today, you are going to learn, you're going to receive what I believe to be the most important form of communication. And I also see that it lays the foundation for the rest of your communication. We're also going to learn the basic tools that can master your mind. As I say, we're going to have regular mindset sessions and cover all sorts of different areas, from imposter syndrome to the specific fear of public speaking, to being asked questions and finding it challenging in the moment, money mindset, making your offer, having confidence to sell from live and virtual stages. We're going to have ongoing mindset sessions. But today I want to share with you the basic tools that for me are like, these are the king. And everybody's different, each to their own. But for me, and I trust that you'll understand why when you watch this video, this is something that is with you all day, every single day. And if you're able to master this, then you are absolutely able to master your mind. And as most of us within this space know, mastering your mind, or at least most of the time, being able to master your mind and those little voices that chatter away to us, is an immensely powerful way of being to support every single area of your life, but of course, especially your speaking as well. And then last but not least, we're going to jump into connecting to your speaker desire. And I know that I've spoken for a little while. These videos are always going to be interactive. There's going to be a level of questions, thought-provoking moments. Write down in your workbook, take note in your journal. Yes, so there's always going to be interactional. I do mean that. I was questioning myself then. There's going to be moments of interaction through every video. But of course, especially in this really is about you, and it's connecting to your speaker desire, why it's important to you, why it matters, and the understanding that emotional connection can play in your speaker journey. So very quickly, anyone that knows me, anyone that's been to any of my events knows that I speak about warrior. Unleash your warrior within. I believe, see, and now know that everybody has and is a warrior. Everybody has a warrior inside. Everybody is a warrior. Just some people are conscious, some people aren't right now. Some people believe that they are, some people know that they are, some people show up in that way, and other people have a little bit of self-doubt still, are questioning themselves. I was absolutely in that space. My first ever ebook was called Warrior to Warrior. Yes, someone that worried, someone that let self-doubt, someone let that little voice talk them out of things, into someone that was able to step into their power and then feel the fear, but step up anyway. So it is a process. It comes to your mindset. And yes, absolutely, everybody, and I've seen this enough times with the fire walking that we do. I've taken hundreds of people over the fire now, and I see them in a moment of panic, a moment of fear, and then make that calm, conscious choice to feel the fear, but do what is important to them in the moment. And that takes courage. It takes stepping into your power as a warrior. And I encourage us to live from this space of power. And it'll look different each and every day, but I encourage us to live from this space of power. But remember that you're human. Yes, it took me a long time to sort of really get this lesson. And every so often, I still beat myself up a little bit, because I just forget that I'm human, right? And you see all of these different emotions, these different feelings. All of us are going to experience this in life, in relationships, in business, with family, with friends, with loved ones, with situations. And again, the circumstances, the situations, and the experiences will be different for all of us. But the feelings and the emotions are something that all of us experience in varying amounts as human beings. But the amazing thing is that we can support ourselves to more consistently live in a higher vibration, in a higher frequency, in a more powerful state of being. And again, I'm not about this. I think the expression, which I'm not a huge fan of either, but just for time's sake and ease, I'm not a big fan of like the toxic positivity. And yet there is an element of truth to this, right? It's not about pretending to be happy. It's not about trying to be happy, or confident or motivated in every second of every day. It's about being human and allowing all of these emotions, but not choosing to live in them, not letting fear stop you, not letting self-doubt stop you, not letting fear of judgment stand in your way. And there's so many different nuances to this. And this is why fear and mindset is so important with public speaking. Everybody says that public speaking is like the #1 fear in the world. I don't know how true that is, because I would have more of a fear of death than public speaking, but I'm saying that as a speaker, so who knows? But either way, public speaking is well known to be one of the biggest fears. And I always say that it's not the public speaking. Public speaking has so many nuances within that: fear of judgment, fear of making a mistake, fear of being challenged, fear of failure, fear of success. There's so many different nuances within that, but it's about consistently supporting your mindset to feel that fear and speak up anyway. Feel that fear and take the next step anyway. Feel that fear and rise up in your speaker journey and with the impact that you want to make. So as I say, today we're going to be speaking about this, continuously working on the most important area of communication, and the one tool that is with you in every single moment of every single day. So your life, but also before you walk on stage, during your speeches, you know, the whole process, it is with you all the time. Anyone that's worked with me for a long time, you hopefully can guess what I'm speaking to. And if you're brand new here, you're going to find it out in a moment. And number two, of course, is emotionally connecting to your desire. Everybody's journey with speaking is different. And one of the beauties of speaking, and something that we're going to talk about in later sessions, pillar number 5, monetizing your message. Yes, the business side of speaking. Something that we're going to talk about is, what does that look like for you? Is it retreats? Is it workshops? Is it a 1-day event, 3-day event, 5-day event, 7-day retreats, 10-day, etc., etc.? Workshops. Do you want to do online and offline? Do you only want to speak online? Do you want to have courses, programs? Do you just want to be a paid keynote speaker? There's so many different ways. And as I say, we will talk more if you're not quite aware of the different ways that you can monetize your message, get paid, and run your speaking business. We're going to cover that. But start leaning into the idea of what you would like to do, but more importantly, what your speaking desire is. And we're going to touch on that. Well, go deeper into that in our later session. Now, ideally, I would have had, I obviously didn't go back and double check it, but funnily enough, before I started this video, I thought it would be magic. I said to myself, should I flick through those slides? And I thought, if there's a mistake, I'm going to use it in that moment. And anyone, again, that's been with me regularly knows that I love utilizing in the moment situations with speaking, because speaking, yes, it's a skill. Yes, there is so much you can do to prepare, but the most powerful and impactful speakers are when you get super comfortable being able to adapt, flex, and stay calm with anything that is going on with your room. And this is a silly example, but I would have loved for these to have come up separately as I talked through the different pillars. But instead of letting it throw me, instead of allowing it to be distracting, I can take a breath and continue with the slide as it is. And as I say, this is only like a really little tiny example. Maybe there's another mistake later on that'll show this more. But my point here, and it's relevant within a mindset session, is that stuff happens as a speaker. It doesn't always go your way. Someone's phone might go off right in the middle of the meaningful part of your story. The fire alarm might go off. Someone that's speaking before you at a multi-speaker event might go over time and cut yours down. There's so many different things that can happen, but it's really about developing that skill of staying calm and being able to adapt, flex, and carry on. And one of the most powerful ways we can do this is with the bright pink wording at the top, your self-talk. Now, I always say, for me, communication, public speaking, it always starts from within. External communication stems from internal communication, internal dialogue. How are you speaking to yourself? Say hello, not out loud, but say hello. That voice. And maybe many voices inside of your mind are chattering away all day long. But are you aware of what they are saying? Do you know how you are speaking to yourself? Because how we speak to ourselves, our thoughts, the story that we are telling ourselves, what is going on, the language, the communication inside of our mind determines and massively influences our feelings and our emotions. Our thoughts and our emotions, thoughts and emotions determine and have huge influence on the actions that we are taking. And of course, our actions determine our results. So it begins with how we're speaking to ourselves. So are you kind of being a little bit mean? Are you a bit nasty to yourself sometimes? Do you beat yourself up? Can you be highly critical of yourself? Do you compare yourself to others? And don't get me wrong, I mean, I used to do that all the time, every day in every moment, especially before I had awareness. And now, yeah, it still shows up at times. I can still give myself a hard time every so often. I can still allow a story that doesn't serve me to run for a little bit too long. But generally speaking, and this is what I love sharing and have shared for years now, I really see the power in becoming your own best friend. And that doesn't mean I do not believe. I mean, look at the space we're in, the community of incredible warriors that are rising together to increase their impact and their income. Yes, I believe in tribe. I believe in network. I believe in community and rising together. But I also hugely believe develop as me to rise as we. It starts with you. And yes, have an incredible tribe and community like this one that will cheer you on and support you and encourage you and empower you whenever you have conversations with them. But learn to do that for yourself. Learn to pay attention to how you are speaking to yourself. Notice, are you being mean? Are you being a little bit nasty? Are you being a bully in a playground inside of your own mind to yourself? Or are you supporting yourself? Are you speaking to yourself in a way that empowers you? Because it always comes back to the story that you are telling yourself. How you speak to yourself in your mind has such a massive impact in how you show up in your everyday life. Simple example, yes? Everyone gets nervous. Everyone feels the fear, especially at the beginning. Everyone feels the fear about walking on stage. Some people go, no, I can't do it. It's not my time. Maybe another day. I'm not good enough. I wish I could be like so-and-so. And other people are like scared, a little bit nervous, but I really want to do this. I'm excited to share this. I have a powerful message. I have benefit for the audience. I might not get it right. I might not make it perfect, but I will progress. Yes, it's a story, same feeling, same emotion of fear and nerves, but a different story that you are telling yourself. And this is in our everyday life, relationship, finances, your money mindset, your confidence, your ability to do most things will come down to the belief, the attitude, and the story that you are telling yourself. I think it's Henry Ford that says, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you are right. So really start paying attention. Really start noticing how you speak to yourself. And remember, network, tribe, supportive friends, partners, mentors, coaches, whatever category or label they fall under, general empowering support is immensely useful and beneficial in your journey. But everything starts with you. Yes, you are the dot in the center of everything. During your day, there isn't consistently, yes, you might have a few days here and there where you spend with a loved one or with your team or whatever it might be, but generally speaking, over time, the only person that is with you in every single moment of every single day is you. It's yourself. So as cheesy as this sounds, really start leaning into speaking to yourself and supporting yourself as a best friend. If you notice a story that isn't serving you, if you start speaking into a problem, a challenging, a false story, a limiting belief, pause, start to notice that story and imagine that your friend, a best friend, came to you and shared that problem, and imagine what you would say to them, and then say that to yourself. Speak to yourself in a supportive, loving, and empowering way. And something that I love to share to remember this, BAF. BAF, B-A-F. 3 simple letters. I'm going to run through it very, very quickly. Anyone that works with me knows this. You should be able to write down in your journal before I even say it what this stands for. But if you need that reminder, or like I say, you're brand new in this space, BAF. Easy to remember and a power tool in any moment. We've already established the power of your voice. Some of you may have heard that beautiful parable about the old man that's speaking to his grandson. And he shares that you have 2 wolves inside of your mind. One wolf is anger, jealousy, self-doubt, fear, insecurity. The other is love, encouragement, support, happiness, fulfillment. And the little boy says, which wolf wins? And the grandfather, or the wise old Cherokee, turns back and says, whichever wolf you feed. And I just think that's a beautiful way of capturing what we're speaking to here. You can add energy and focus to the story or the limiting belief that doesn't serve you, or you can feed the empowering narrative that does support you in that moment. And one way to help you do that is, first and foremost, take a breath. Let's just do it together now. Take a long, deep breath in. And out. And one more time, just feel that really consciously. Take a long, deep breath in. And out. And just notice, even at that moment, I mean, if you're already relaxed or if you're in a good state of mind, it may have just made it even more zen, or you might only feel a subtle difference. But if you were feeling a little bit stressed or a little bit anxious, something was going on in your mind, just taking that long, deep breath already supports you to slow down your heart rate, to calm your mind. It tells your parasympathetic nervous system that it is okay. You can calm down now, and it automatically has a biological response. So just taking that long, deep breath allows you to calm your mind. If it doesn't work straight away, keep taking those long, deep breaths. You'll often see people, if they're having a panic attack, they're encouraged to breathe into a brown paper bag, because breathing in itself not only is something to focus on, but is also, of course, naturally allowing your body to calm itself. So take a breath, give yourself a pause, allow yourself to respond instead of react, allow yourself to notice, to bring awareness to what it is that you are running inside of your mind. What story are you telling yourself? Is this useful? Is this supportive? Yes, the first step to any change is awareness. So do you have that self-awareness on whether your internal dialogue, your communication, the foundation for how you show up in your everyday life, and of course, how you show up in your business on stage, is from that story? So bring awareness and then choose your focus. Choose your focus. And again, to use, seeing as we're in a public speaking impact group, to use a speaking example, I touched on one earlier. Before you go on stage, are you allowing the story of, I'm freaking out, what if my mind goes blank, what if I forget everything? Or are you allowing yourself to take a breath, come out of your head and into your heart? I always love to share that. Take note of that. Come out of your head and into your heart, and focus on how you can serve your audience. Focus on how you can help. Focus on how you can make a difference. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, focus on what could go right. Yes, as amazing as our minds are, we cannot focus on both a positive and a negative at the same time. And more often than not, when we're making it about us, when we're in our head thinking like, what if I forget something? I don't think I can do it. I'm not good enough. Maybe my content isn't good enough. What if someone knows more than me? Like, we're thinking about us and what could go wrong. But when we come out of our head and into our heart, now we're more in a space of contribution. Now we're in a space of service. Now we're in a space of impact, because we're focusing on our audience. We're thinking about what could go right for them. How does this information benefit them? How does what I have to say make a difference to their life, to their relationships, to their health, to their business? Again, this is a general membership, so everybody speaks to different topics, but make it relevant for you. Where you choose to put your focus is where your energy will flow. It's the actions that you will take, and therefore it's the results that will show up for you. So bath, have that moment to remember: breath, awareness, focus. Take a breath, give yourself a pause. Don't react, respond. Notice the story that is running. Notice how you're speaking to yourself, and then consciously choose your focus. Choose your focus. Choose your next step. If you're someone right now that is super scared of public speaking and it gives you like anxiety, and I've met and worked with and trained people that have felt exactly the same way. One beautiful girl showed up to my 3-day event on the first day. She left immediately upon entering the room, smoked an entire pack of cigarettes outside, came back in, sat down, got up again, went into the toilet, and had a panic attack at the event on the morning of the first day. By the end of day 3, she was one of the most interactive, engaging, radiant speakers that we had in the room. I have to just take a moment for her. She's actually no longer with us. This was about 4 or 5 years ago on the time of recording this video. But she was called Poonam, and she just was an absolute light. And she's just somebody that I think is always worthy of mentioning, but it's a story that stays in my heart because she was probably one of the most frightened individuals I've ever seen in my experience of training hundreds of speakers to take to the stage. And she actually became one of the most natural, engaging speakers. So it is possible for everyone, no matter what level you are at, to overcome that fear, to feel the fear and speak up anyway. And of course, that's what this program is all about. But are you telling yourself right now, you know, I can't do this, I'm no good, I wish I could be like so-and-so? Or are you starting to support your story of, I'm getting better, I'm becoming a better speaker, I've just invested in a program that's going to help me improve this skill? Yes. Or maybe you're at a stage where you say, I am a confident, powerful speaker. I know I have an amazing message. I can be an incredible impactor. The language will be different depending on your personality style, depending on where you are on your journey. But are you using stories that support you or that leave you feeling a bit disempowered, disencouraged, and a little bit stuck in your journey? If you're someone that's already speaking, but maybe you're not having the impact that you want, maybe you don't feel comfortable selling yet, and like you deliver your content in an amazing way, but you get a little bit nervous and the energy shifts when you start selling. Again, I'm getting better at selling. I'm making progress from inviting people into my programs. I love to share my offer. I know that I can make a difference when people take the next step and come to my event, come to my retreat, etc., etc. Speaking to yourself in a way that supports you. And of course, bath, having that breath, noticing how you're speaking, and then choosing your focus in the way you speak to yourself will be incredibly powerful. So on that note, I went into a rant then, and you better get used to them if you're going to get used to me. Let's take a deep breath in and move into speaker desires. Your speaker desire. I said earlier that everybody's speaker journey is going to be different. Trust that. Everybody's pace is going to be different. Trust that. Like, don't allow yourself to just sit there in procrastination and not execute on what's important to you. But understandably, and with anything in life, everyone's pace, everyone's desire, the way in which they want to do it is going to be different. And for that context, there is no right or wrong. There's just different. There's just your speaker desires and your pace in ticking off the steps that get you to those speaker desires. But what I believe can make a huge difference to everybody is your emotional connection to your desire. The speaker journey, like anything, like life, yes, I'm sure you've all heard this. Life is a roller coaster. I didn't know I was going to sing it to you, but life's a roller coaster. Yes, your speaker journey is a roller coaster. There's going to be speeches that you walk off the stage and you think, oh my gosh, that was awful. I didn't enjoy it. It was embarrassing. I made a mistake. I wish I'd said this, blah, blah, blah. Right. Or a speech that goes okay, but just has a little bit of an embarrassing or challenging moment. And then there's going to be times that you walk off stage and think, yes, I did it. I made such a difference. I could feel it in the room. I'm really happy with that. Powerful. And I impacted. I delivered then. There's going to be moments where you get accepted and people reach out to you with speaking opportunities. And there's going to be moments where you're asking left, right, and center, and it feels like everybody's saying no. Yes, for many different reasons, in many different ways, the speaker journey can be a bit of a roller coaster. So again, it's about that mindset. It's about that self-talk, how you speak to yourself through this journey. But it's also about your emotional connection. What is it for you? Oh, did one come up? Or did it? No, there we go. Why do you want to speak? And I suggest that you write these questions down. If you want to, pause as we go through them, and you can do it as you are listening to this right here, right now. Or if you're driving or being sneaky at work, or however you're listening to this, if you're not able to take notes right here and now, then I suggest you take a screenshot, or you remember the questions and spend some time with your journal. Even more powerful, put a little bit of evoking background music on, and just sit with these questions and really think about it. And over time, I'm sure it will evolve. As you get more experience in different environments, it will evolve. But tune in and connect with why you want to speak. Why is it important to you? And not just for the people that you're speaking to, like put that down as well. The difference you can make, the benefit that you can provide. But for you, it took me a long time to just own that I love speaking. I love it. I love events, full stop. Whether I'm there as a participant, crew, team, speaker, lead trainer, facilitator, event host, running the whole thing, any of those roles, I absolutely love it. So it really is one of my happy places. Ironically, my other happy place is the direct opposite, with my husband in nature in the middle of nowhere, without anybody around, and calm, peace. But I love events. So part of the reason that I want to speak is I love being in that atmosphere. Yes, I know it's one of my strengths. Yes, I know I'm an outstanding speaker. I've put a lot of time and energy into it. I'm very passionate about it, but I love doing it. And if you're someone that right now is like, Harriet, I'm way too scared to love it right now, just imagine what that would look like in the future. When you do love speaking, when you do love seeing those light bulb moments in your participants' eyes, when they take your information and they're able to apply it with relevance into their own life, business, relevant area, that feeling in the moment, the magic of their eyes, the atmosphere in the room, the energy, the growth that you get, the healing that you get as a speaker. Why do you want to speak? I'm going to gently just keep working through these questions. But as I say, take time with these. The more emotional connection you have, the more emotional resilience you will have. Let me say that one more time. The more emotional connection you have, the more let's be resilient and say that again. The more emotional connection you have, the more emotional resilience you will have. Henry David Thoreau says that if you know your why, if you are emotionally connected, if you know your why, you will endure any how. So take some time and really know why you want to speak. And how do you want to impact? Both mentally, emotionally. What message do you want people to receive? How do you want them to feel? What actions would you encourage them to take for their benefit? How do you want to make an impact? But also, again, some of you will be very clear on this and some of you will be very unsure. And there's no right or wrong. There's just where you are. And that's why we have our live sessions together where you can come and ask your personal questions and I can tailor this information for you. But do you want to run workshops, retreats, events, online programs, in-person programs? And like, how do you want to run your speaker business? Maybe you don't want to run any programs at all and you just want to get paid to speak. Do you want to be more of a corporate speaker? Do you want to speak to entrepreneurs? Are you in network marketing? Again, there's many different avenues that we can take with speaking. There's many different ways we can combine different ways of monetizing our message and making an impact. But what does that look like for you? What does your successful speaker journey look like? And again, the more you can write down for all of these, the more you consistently refer to that. If you want to make a vision board, if you want to make a screensaver, if you want to put Post-its all around your house. I love a good Post-it. That's one of my favorite tools. I have Post-its everywhere. But, you know, write down little quotes, write down little prompts that remind you, vision boards that are visually in front of you, that get you imagining what you like, loving where you are, but get you imagining and excited about doing, not just thinking about, not just dreaming about, but doing what it is that you want to be doing in the future. In my mind, I was traveling the world long before I ever first got on a flight to go to a speaking event, to get paid to speak, or to go and run an event in another country. Yes, I'd flown before, but for speaking, to get paid, to have my travel, to have my accommodation paid for, or of course, as I said, to go and run my own events and factor in those costs in other countries. But it was a dream. It was on my vision board, countries that I wanted to go to. I thought about it. I imagined it. I used to stand in my garden on the decking of our cabin, looking out, pretending I was speaking to different audiences. So I was feeling, not just imagining, not just saying it, feeling. Remember, thoughts and emotion, not just thought, but thoughts and emotion. How does it feel? The more we are emotionally connected, logically understand, but emotionally connected to what it is that we desire, why we desire that, how it would make us feel, again, the more likely we are to show up even when it's tough, the more likely we are to stay resilient, the more likely we are to flip those disempowering stories faster into stories that empower us. The easier it is to stay in the game, the easier it is to stop comparing ourselves to others and simply focus on our path and what it is that we want to do. So again, one more time, say it louder for the people at the back. The longer you spend in these questions, the more emotion you can bring to your answers, the more resilience and the more ease. And I say ease again, it's a process, but ease and grace you will be able to bring to your journey. And of course, I mentioned it being about you, but it really is about your audience. Yes, like I said, own it. If you want to love it, love being a speaker, love being a facilitator, that's incredible. But the best speakers and the best impactors, even though, and like I said earlier, I love it, but everything I do on that stage is for the audience. It's easy for us to forget. Yes, the light's on us. We've got the mic. It's our content. But everything we do as speakers, and I'm going to start using the language impactors now in this space, in this tribe, in this circle, we are impactors, or we are becoming impactors. We are becoming more impactful. Yes, think about your language and what works for you, but let's forget speakers and let's go into impactors. Yes, you came into this group knowing it was one thing to speak, another to impact. So let's switch it now to impactors. And the most powerful impactors have their audience in their mind, front and foremost, in their heart, front and foremost, in everything that they do before they get on the stage, when they're preparing, and of course, when they're on the stage, and after that stage, after they've been on that stage, especially if there is fulfillment. So what does your message, what does your content, what does it do for other people? How does it benefit them? Why is it important that they hear it? How can it help? Why are you excited for them to receive, hear, experience your content, your exercises, your modalities, your methods, your process? Again, the language is different for everybody. Fill in the blank for you. But what does your content, what do your speeches, what do your words, especially if you deliver them well, what does it do for others? And last, but of course, absolutely not least, why is that important? Why does that matter to you, to them, to your friends' family, to their friends' family, to their teams, Again, make it relevant to you and what you speak about. But why is it important? I have a passion and a mission for everybody to experience at least billions, at least millions. I have a passion for everybody to experience a level of personal development. And again, just like I've been saying with your speaker journey, that's going to be different for everybody. Some people like experiential breakthroughs. Some people like energy healing. Some people like Akashic records. Some people like therapy. Some people like cognitive behavioral therapy. Some people like NLP. The list goes on and on and on and on. And I'm not here to fly the flag for any of them. I'm here to fly a flag for kind of all of them and say that something will benefit you. One of those areas, and the many that I've not said, will benefit you. And I highly believe in the power of personal development and spiritual connection. And I realized that if I tried to speak to everybody about that or coach in that, I mean, I'm actually not your best coach. I'm a great speaker. I'm a great mentor. I'm not your best coach, which is why I like to collaborate and refer to other coaches. But I do believe in the value and the power. And I realize that I can only speak to so many people. But if I train speakers, if I help those that already are doing those things, yes, coaches, leaders, mentors, entrepreneurs that are able to bring huge benefit through the words they speak. And yet right now, they're just not quite communicating that in an effective way. If I can help those people with those gifts, that content, that wisdom and knowledge, that benefit for the audiences, that's who I want to help. And by training and supporting other speakers, I then have that incredible ripple effect of getting this information, wisdom, knowledge that can help us all from the inside out to so many more people. So I think you can hear just even in the way I'm speaking about that, like it excites me. I love training speakers because I understand, especially when they're effective, especially when they're impactful, especially when they're authentic and truly coming from their heart and their content is relevant, but they deliver it in that powerful way. Oh, I understand the effect that they can have, the positive influence, the inspiration that they can have, the power of the mic, the impact that you can have. And therefore, as you can feel, and as I love to say I can do every day, I am so passionate about training speakers. That is just kind of one area that is important to me and my speaking desire. So what is it for you? And how many different reasons, how many different whys can you write down? Because as I said before, and as I'm sure you will hear me say again, the more emotional connection you have, the more resilience, the easier it is to change that story, the easier it is to show up in your speaking journey and all the different areas of your speaking journey. So I encourage you to take a screenshot. This is like a brief and more narrowed down version of what we just covered and what we just shared together. But share your speaker desires. If you remember one of the earlier slides where we had a quick look at the inside of our community, there is a section there that says introductions and shares. Introductions and shares. Of course, it's to say hello when you first come in, but it's also to connect, communicate around these sessions, around our learning and growth together. So come into that space and share. What's your name? What do you speak about? What are your speaker desires? And of course, why is that important to you? So hopefully you'll have access to a copy of all of these slides, but hopefully you've taken a screenshot. Come and share in the introductions and shares section about your speaking desires. And until next time, a couple of little bits and bobs for you. There is a speaker's visualization. There is a speaker's visualization. It is to support you from going from your current limiting beliefs, whatever that is, whatever that may be. For all of you, it will be different. For some of you, it'll probably be the same or at least similar. But for many of us, it will be different. There's no right or wrong. There just is what that story that's holding you back, that limiting belief, that fear, that apprehension, that false narrative that is not serving you. How can we take limiting beliefs within your speaker journey, shift, lovingly accept, let that go, and then create, happily create and get excited about your empowered belief, your speaker vision, your speaker's desire, and the story and thought pattern that will support you in that. So please do check out the speaker's visualization that is in the description. It's in the links underneath this part of your curriculum. Number 2, observe your self-talk. Yes, start noticing, how are you speaking to yourself? Really spend time in the next 24, 48 hours and then continuously to just observe. And don't beat yourself up if you notice you're being nasty, because then you're just doubling down, right? Take a breath, bath, notice what you're saying, and then shift your focus. Speak to yourself like a best friend. Take a moment to, if you haven't already, as we went through it, sit with those questions. If you want to put some beautiful, emotionally provocative music in the background that just, it gets your juices flowing, that wonderful creativity. I love listening to a little bit of blues in the background, and just sit and really take some time to answer those questions. Connect with your speaker desires, connect to what you want to speak about, connect to how what you want to speak about helps, connect to how you might want to run, build, scale, and grow your speaking business, and then come and share in our group. And let me remind you, some of you right now might be able to answer that question quite easily, and that's amazing. Share it and I'll support you with it. And for some of you, if you're right at the beginning, it may just feel a little bit overwhelming. You're not quite sure, you're a little unclear. Take a deep breath. That's okay. It's very natural. It's very normal to feel that way at the beginning of your speaker journey. Connect with those that are a little bit more experienced. Lean in and share and network with them. But also just remember to take some action. Get an idea. Get a step. Start thinking about a keynote. Start thinking about where you could first speak. What feels good to you? Events, retreats, workshops, online programs. What feels good? What resonates with you? And just start taking a note and then coming and sharing that. And of course, last but not least, there you go. There was another mistake. Yes, we either dwell on what goes wrong and start thinking, oh, I wish I'd said that better, or we just roll with it and we keep on speaking. There's another example. Whenever we make a little mistake, whenever something happens in our online speaker world, in our live speaking world, take a breath and just keep on going. So as I was saying, number 4, lock in your next mindset calls. As I said earlier, mindset is an ongoing process. It is continuous habits, practice, rituals, connections, stories, learning to really continuously develop a mindset that serves, empowers, and supports you. So make sure that you have locked in the next mindset calls and dates, which of course are in the events section of our wonderful, amazing community together. But otherwise, if you've got any questions, bring them to our live coaching calls or put them in the community questions box. If you can't wait until our next call, just whack them in the questions section. And otherwise, I will see you on our next video. And as always, let's continue rising together.